going to call to order the public hearing for the ordinance to update and amend a portion of the Planning and Zoning Code, Table 1105-1, Section 1105-03X, and Section 113503. I'll invite Mr. Gabriel Rhodes up here, City Planner, to speak to this. Thank you.
Hello. So this is a public hearing for proposed zoning code changes regarding vape stores and smokers' lounges. There's three parts to it, but essentially it's just consolidating an existing definition for smokers' lounges, as well as proposing some dimensional requirements as well. City Council passed a 9-month moratorium on establishment of any new vape stores. They were reviewed by the Planning Commission with the proposed changes September 11th, 2024, and the Planning Commission does recommend approval by City Council. So this is our permitted uses table broken down by zoning district. You can see we already had a existing box and a table for smokers' lounges, so we would just add the vape store in with it, as well as making it a conditional use in each zoning district, other than prohibiting the use in every zoning district other than general business, in which in general business it'd be a conditional use. So the conditional use standards would be as such as any new or proposed vape store would need to be 1,000 feet from any residential property or use, 1,000 feet from any other smokers' lounge or vape store existing or proposed, as well as 1,000 feet from any school, park, daycare, or library. Down below, we have the blended definition for smokers' lounge / vape store, until it's pretty comprehensive, as well as 50% or more of display or floor area dedicated to the use or sale of pipes, hookah, electronic cigarettes, or any other nicotine products as defined by the Ohio Revised Code. So it is very comprehensive overall. So as I was saying, Planning Commission reviewed and approved the proposed zoning text amendment on September 11th by way of Resolution 2402, and is recommending approval of these amendments, as well as reviewed by the Law Committee on October 1st, 2024.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions, Council? Seeing none. Any questions, comments from the audience? Seeing none. Good presentation, thank you. And this would go into effect 30 days after passage? Yeah. It's not? Okay. Yeah. All right. There are no further questions or comments. We'll go ahead and close this public hearing. And we will call to order the meeting of the regular City Council meeting of November 19th, 2024. If you could please rise for a prayer and moment of silence and pledge of allegiance by Mr. Lovett.
Please lower your heads for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Buhite.
Mr. Tankersley?
Here.
Mrs. Sharpshire? Here. Mr. Lovett?
Here.
Mr. Cox?
Here.
Mrs. Knight? Here. Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
And Mr. Cook is absent with notice.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes of our last meeting? Seeing none, those minutes will stand as approved and written and distributed. Reports and communications, Mayor Hardman.
Thank you, Mr. Coulter. At this time, I'm going to turn a little bit of my time on the floor over to our friends from BAPS who are here this evening to share a little bit about them and their celebrations and what's going on over there on Chester Road and beyond. So I will turn the floor over to you guys for a few minutes.
It's all right. Yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much, President Council Paul Coulter, Mayor Hardman, council members, and all our community members for having us here today so that way we can share the values of the organization and spread some positive and happy vibes in here as well. It is an honor to be here to represent BAPS. As my name is Dr. Grishma Patel. I have been a volunteer of BAPS since I was 5 years old, and at present, I provide my services in Department of Public Affairs and Relations. We will also like to share insights of Diwali, which is a festival of light. So this year, on October 31st, we were able to celebrate the Festival of Light Diwali at our local temple in Sharonville with other 3,000 community members over the course of the day. So Diwali is a time for us where we all come together with family, friends, and community to celebrate new beginnings, renewal, joy, and hope to keep us strong and united. During these 5 days, we reflect on the values of kindness, compassion, and service to others, the values that we practice throughout the year. These values are heart of Hindu teachings, just as they are with every faith and tradition, and we really appreciate that. Diwali in general symbolizes the victory of good over evil, light over darkness, and knowledge over ignorance. It is a time of renewal where we feel rejuvenated with virtues of kindness, forgiveness, selfless service, and compassion. This year, we even had an opportunity to celebrate Diwali at our Cincinnati City Hall on November 6th. On the same day, we reflected on a moment from year 1974. So in 1974, Mayor Theodore M. Barry presented Key to the City to our spiritual mentor, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who lived his entire life in the spirit of selfless service. So on this day, we celebrated a historic moment, the 50 years to that moment, and even 50 years of BAPS service in North America. I can proudly say that over the past 5 decades, we have worked to do good. From a very small temple in New York City, the organization has built over 100+ temples throughout North America. And each of this temple is not just the hub of spirituality, but it also of service. Here in Cincinnati, we started our activities in the year 2002, and as most of us will know, we were able to build the beautiful Pinkstone Temple in Sharonville in year 2015. Over the past 50 years, BAPS has helped preserve Indian culture and values in providing the space to families and individuals to connect with their roots. Through BAPS youth program, the kids not only learn how to strengthen their love and affection towards God or how to strengthen their spiritual journey, but also how to become aware, responsible citizens of the world by making right choices. For 50 years, BAPS has been a shining light, promoting service, cultural preservation, and has been an advocate of peace and unity. From organizing health fairs to providing disaster relief, BAPS has shown us what it means to serve with humility and dedication. The volunteers, whether young or old, they carry the spirit of service, which is seva, by contributing their time, talent, and resources so that way we can make a better community each day. This commitment to goodness and service, nurtured in each generation, lies in the heart of BAPS mission. We truly believe that all souls contains a spark of divine and that we must work for good of all. So today, may we continue to build a community where every individual feels valued, where diversity is celebrated, and where hope shines brighter each day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Samir Brownbud. I professionally work as a kidney doctor not far from here in Fairfield Hospital. And like what Dr. Patel said, since birth actually, since I was a kid, I've been involved with BAPS charities. So today I would like to take a couple of minutes of your time just to briefly talk about what BAPS charities mean and what we do. So BAPS charities is a global activity, active in many countries across 5 continents. Volunteers drive our efforts, dedicating the portion of their time and their lives in selfless service for others, both in our local neighborhoods as well as globally. BAPS Charities is registered as a charitable organization in many countries, including United States. Our history is fascinating. We started back in South Asia more than 2 decades ago, and now we have grown over the years to more than 9 countries throughout the world, and we have striven to remain true to our main value of selfless service. One thing I would like to talk about is our symbol. In some of the BAPS Charities logo, you'll see the symbol is the symbol of a flame resting in a crucible. What it represents is the spirit of service. That's our motto. This ethos is captured by that motto, the spirit of service. It represents the desire of selfless service growing in the hearts of our volunteers. We believe that flame is an insightful representation of that true service. So how do we do this? BAPS charities, like I mentioned, they work globally, locally, and here in Sharonville City also. Globally, we work through the 5 different areas. Briefly, first is humanitarian relief. Recently, we provided support to the unfortunate victims of Hurricane Helen and Milton in Florida. Second, we provide environmental protection and services. Recently, we arranged a walkathon for fundraising that supported the Nature Conservancy. Their goal is to support the Plant Billion Tree program by the end of 2025. Third is community empowerment. Fourth is educational services. And the fifth and final one is healthcare. In healthcare, we provide different services through charity work, such as at our Sharonville City, we recently did a healthcare that provides almost free to very minimal cost to our underserved people. And also we did a blood donation drive with help by our Red Cross local program. And also we did the flu vaccine drive with help of CVS Pharmacy. And also we recently did a mammogram through the help of Premier Health. So those are the healthcare things that BAPS charities do, and they all were done here locally in Sharonville. Globally, like I mentioned, during flood, during earthquake, also nationally during COVID-19 pandemic, and like I said earlier, support of hurricane victims. But most importantly, locally, we have been very fortunate that we had an opportunity to participate our local heroes of Sharonville Police Department and support their really great fund that they have. And recently with our walkathon that we just did in summer, I think we saw some of the glimpse here that through that walkathon, we were able to support our Sharonville Police Department's Shop with a Cop event. And that's such a noble cause that we were very fortunate to be a part of that once again. So that's what I wanted to share about BAPS charities. Thank you for your time. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Good evening, President and Mayor Kevin. thank you for having us today. And thank you, Jim, for setting up all this and made things happen. Mayor Hardman and council member, your commitment of making city of Sharonville better place is inspiring. And we as an organization deeply appreciate that the time and effort you all the invest in creating the positive and remarkable changes and for supporting BAPS nonprofit organization in Sharonville. We're looking forward to continue collaboration with you in future support the growth and well-being in the community. Thanks again. And we also like to present a check for whatever we done. Like we are proudly once again support our selfless service provided by our police department. Let us ask our volunteer lead, Mr. Ketan Patel, and come forward and hand over the check.
Really are, an important part of our community. We truly appreciate it. So I have a little something for you guys. So come on back up here real quick. And so it says, whereas BAPS is a worldwide Hindu organization dedicated to fostering faith, inspiring service, and promoting better living. And whereas His Holiness, and I'm not going to get this right, I've tried, Pramukh Swami Maraha. Close? All right. From 1921 to 2016, established the first BAPS Hindu Mandir in the United States of America on August 4th, 1974 in New York City, marking 50 years of service and faith in the United States. And whereas over the last 50 years, BAPS has grown to over 100 Mandirs across the United States, including the one right here in Sharonville on Chester Road, which opened in 2015, and some of you probably saw fireworks early part of November. There were lots of social media. What are the fireworks going off for? It was a great opportunity for learning about Diwali and the celebration. Whereas these mandirs offer a welcoming and spiritual space for thousands of families, as well as worship, fellowship, communal meals, education, and activities for young and old, creating a true home for the faithful. And whereas BAPS mandirs add to the rich tapestry of diversity that makes Sharonville a beautiful place to call home, it is a proud example of how houses of worship contribute to the well-being of their congregants and local communities, and hope to serve its congregants and the local community with even greater zeal in the next 50 years and beyond. It's therefore my pleasure as the mayor of the city of Sharonville to proclaim today, Tuesday, November 19th, as BAPS Day in the city of Sharonville. Thank you all very much. Thank you all for joining us. Stick around for just a minute because we're going to take a little break here in just a second. I know all these folks probably want to say hi to you and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys could give us just about 10 more minutes because we have some swearing ins to do, and then we'll take a little break. So if you guys want to go ahead and grab a seat, and then I am going to invite up Ryan. Come on down. This is Ryan Gregory. Ryan grew up in Mount Orab, Ohio, where he attended school and graduated from Western Brown in 2005. After graduating high school, Ryan attended college at UC Claremont, where he enrolled in the police academy and graduated in 2009. Ryan then swore in as a patrol officer for the village of Mount Orab, where he worked for 15 years. Throughout his career, he advanced his experience from different positions in the police department with his final rank as a detective before being hired and joining us here in the city of Sharonville. Ryan's married to his wife, Andy, and they have been together for 7 years. They have a 10-year-old son, Wyatt, who is active in sports, including baseball and basketball. And as a family, they enjoy going to car shows and watching the occasional movie at the local movie theater. Ryan is appreciative for the opportunity to come to the city of Sharonville, and he will do his best to uphold the police department's high morals and standards that are committed to the residents of Sharonville. You got anybody with you here tonight, Ryan?
My wife, Andy.
Hi, Andy. Glad you could be here. Ryan, if you raise your right hand, let's swear you in. Repeat after me. I, Ryan Gregory,
I, Ryan Gregory,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio,
and the city of Sharonville,
and the city of Sharonville,
and that I will honestly and faithfully
and that I will honestly and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of police officer,
of the office of police officer,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
according to law,
according to law,
and to the best of my ability.
as to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. That's yours. You're going to have to sign it here in a second.
Okay.
We're going to get you back up here for some more pictures, but
Okay.
you can take a break for just a second while I ask Brandon to come up. This is Brandon Dorsey. Brandon Dorsey's a family man from Morrow, Ohio. You write so wonderfully. Did you write this? I did. All right, I like it. Was it AI? Did you put okay, all right. Don't do that. Don't ever do that on a police report either. Don't. Okay. Anyway, Brandon grew up in Mainville and graduated from Little Miami School District in 2018, and he spent his junior and senior years of high school studying sports medicine at the Warren County Career Center. Some of his hobbies include football, looks like it, hiking, and working on sports cars. He's always aspired to become a police officer, following in his father's footsteps. I think we know who that guy is. In April, Brandon successfully completed the police academy program at Scarlet Oaks. Brandon is a hardworking, dedicated husband. You just really you poured it on, didn't you? Hardworking, dedicated husband to his wife, Brittany, and father to his son, Zion. Brandon and his family are very appreciative of the opportunity given and glad to be a continued part of the Sharonville family. You got anybody with you here tonight?
My mom, my wife, my son, and my brother.
Thanks for joining us. Raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brandon Dorsey,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the state of Ohio
of the state of Ohio
and the city of Sharon,
and the city of Sharon,
and that I will faithfully and honestly
and that I will faithfully and honestly
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office of police officer,
of the office of police,
to which I have been appointed
to which I have been appointed
according to law
according to law
and to the best of my ability.
and to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Brandon. Glad to have you. All right, so I know there's family here that want pictures. We want pictures. We want to celebrate with you for a couple minutes. So if it's all right with you, Mr. President, if we could take just a short little, about a 10-minute recess or so everybody can get pictures and just thank everybody, and we'll resume the rest of our council meeting after that. Oh, officer, you guys need to walk the walk. Then you can get pictures. Congratulations. total income to the city for October was $19,273. A total to the state, $45.34, and total to other $340.50, for a total of $24,147.50. We are about $5,000 over where we were at last year to date. And if you would like to see the full breakdown, that will be made part of the minutes of tonight's meeting. I'd like to invite you all, because I don't think we meet again before December 5th, to the big new celebration down on our Depot Square. We're going to light up the tree, so hopefully you're all marked your calendars to join us down on the square. I'm going to do my best Griswold lighting up the Christmas tree event for the day, but hopefully you all will take some time to invite your families. December 5th. December 5th. I should probably double check that and make sure I'm right. I said it with such, December 5th at 6 o'clock is the official time. So hopefully you'll join us. Should be a nice way to kick off the holiday season, something new as a city to kind of enjoy grabbing people and bringing them into our new community center down on the square. Other than that, wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving next week, and thank you for all your attention to budgets last week, and Scott for all of his wrapping up work that he will have to do here in the next few weeks to make that ready and available for you at our next meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you. Safety Service Director, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you. Just legislation this evening. Ordinance 2024-59 was the subject of the public hearing earlier this evening pertaining to vape stores. Scott McKeon's here to talk about ordinances 2024-62E, 63E, and Resolution 24R05E.
Yes, good evening. Next time that somebody brings a novelty-sized check for us, we do have an extra for deposit-only stamp. So if the auditor and treasurer want to stamp the check, that might be the photo op everybody's looking for. Yeah. So go through the three pieces of legislation. Ordinance 62E. This is kind of in accordance with the discussion we had at the budget work session the other day. This authorizes a 2024 discretionary bonus, 40 hours to full-time employees, 24 hours to part-time. The same sort of caveats as last year, prorating for employees that kind of came on during the year. Also MOUs for the collective bargaining units to kind of accept that as well. There is discretionary bonus, then there's the COLA for 2025. That'll take effect very late December. The very beginning of that first payroll pay date for 2025. That's a 3% COLA that'll go into effect at that time. So this ordinance authorizes those two items. Any questions about that piece of legislation? All right, I'll move on to ordinance 63E. This is doing a few different things. It is making appropriations for the proposed discretionary bonus from ordinance 62E. Those numbers are kind of very rounded up just to make sure we don't have problems. So they are in excess of what will actually cost for that bonus. There are additional appropriations for a convention center carpet project that we hope to happen in the very first day or two of 2025. And then there is also authorization for the Safety Service Director to purchase that carpet through a cooperative purchasing program. I believe we're looking at the same vendor, the same program that we used for the exhibit hall here recently. So, and they were very happy with that. Resolution 2024 R05E. This authorizes payment to Monarch Construction. Kind of as we've been sitting on kind of retainage of that project, kind of as I explained in the cover memo, since early 2020. It's obviously late 2024. And there were several punch list items that we've kind of been going through at that time, mostly the roof, but a few other items as well. Those have all kind of recently been concluded to our satisfaction. Part of closing out that project it was kind of pointed out to us, there was, in the pre-bid specs, there was a reference that an escrow account would be utilized, and it was not. We've had these accounts kind of in interest-bearing accounts. Through some conversations with Monarch, we kind of came to an agreement of what was a reasonable amount of interest, and that's what this resolution is authorizing to make payment of. So, any questions about any of those items? Thank you very much.
And then Steve Bosom's here this evening to talk about the balance of the 4 items that are being voted on tonight.
Good evening. Let's see, where do I start? 65. Ordinance 65 is authorizing Safety Service Director to accept bids and enter into contract to award with lowest and best bidder for the repave project of the lower parking lot at the rec center. This was money that was in the 2024 budget. We're going to get it under contract this year and hopes to get it done early next year, hopefully before pool season. So, any questions? 66 is authorizing Safe Service Director to enter into contract for the design of the Coronel Road Improvement Project. This is a project that you all authorized us to go after grant funding through SORTA. There's repave, restripe, guardrails, and some sidewalk on Coronel Road. We have some money available in 2024 capital for this design portion of it, which will allow us to hopefully get the project bid and constructed earlier in 2025. Questions? Let's see, 67 is authorizing Safety Service Director to enter into contract to participate in the Hamilton County Development Program. This is our CDBG grant funding that we applied for this year. We were awarded $80,000 over the next 3 years. This project is geared towards Golden View Acres and replacement of air conditioning and heat HVAC systems up there. This legislation is just entering into contract to accept that award to participate in that program. And 68 is adopting final legislation for our ODOT project, which would be the traffic signal upgrade and fiber installation throughout the city. We've adopted preliminary legislation previous. This is that final legislation to get it wrapped up and out to bid and awarded this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it for the legislation this evening.
All right, thank you. My report, I'm working with Terry to generate the 2025 council calendar schedule, so that'll come out within the next couple of weeks. And if you would like to be considered for a different committee spot role, send me an email with what your recommendations may be for yourselves, and I'll see how I can work some of these things out. That's my report. Clerk of Council, Ms. Buhite.
No report.
Thank you. Auditor, Mr. Cunningham.
Good evening, everybody. We are 83% through the year, through October 31st. Our general fund, we've spent 71% of it, roughly, and our fire fund about 75%. That sort of translates into a couple different things, one being little excess working cash. Our working cash currently is a little elevated due to a couple different reasons, that being one. We also have experienced some interest income from that as well, because rates have been higher, as well as grants that we've advanced, and we're receiving that back in 2024. So that elevated working cash we anticipate will kind of level out from now until the end of the year. I think that gap between what we've actually spent and what we could spend is probably going to narrow a little bit by the end of the year, and so we'll still have that excess, and we'll need that because we've got a lot of projects going on for capital improvements next year. So that is my report.
Thank you. Treasurer, Mr. Irie.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. The tax report is on file. As Mr. Cunningham indicated, we are this report is through the 31st of October. So just to give you a little perspective on where we are in terms of revenue collected, as of this, the October 31st, compared with last year, This time, last year, October 31st, 2023, the general fund is up 19.7% in revenue collected. The street fund is up 17.4% revenue collected. Fire fund is up 4.8%. The senior housing fund is up 1.4%, and the convention center fund is up 14.9%. So well ahead of pace for all those funds from where we were last year, October 31st, 2023. In addition, the income tax revenue is up 4.85%, while the motel tax is down 12.19% year to date. That's my report.
Thank you. Law Director, Mr. Lippert.
Thank you, sir. I don't have anything to report. If anyone has questions, I'm happy to answer if I can.
All right. Seeing none, at this time, are there any residents desiring to be heard before council this evening? Please come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Hello, I'm Will Kimball. Live at 3711 Malaire Drive. Also, I'm a business owner here in Sharonville, and my business is at 1125 Main Street. And I'm coming just to make sure the council knows that there are homeless people living in the city parking lot next to my Main Street residence, and have been for over a year and a half. And at the moment, it's 2, possibly 3 people living there, and it's quite a nuisance. And I just want you to know that it's happening, and I want to know if there's a plan for the city to deal with the homeless people that we have.
So I know, Will, you and I talked a little bit about it, and I kind of shared it. I know the police department is aware of the issue, and so we are actively trying to find solutions to the issue. It's obviously not going as quickly as anyone would like it to go, but it is on everyone's radar, or at least on the radar of, it might be the first time some of them have heard about this specific instance, but our police department is aware of it. The administration's aware of it.
Twice in the last 2 weeks, and they've been excellent.
Yeah, so we are working on it.
Okay.
As best as we can. You know, what you didn't mention is that, you know, you're also the dad of the star kicker on the Princeton Vikings football team. Cole did a great job, as did our entire Princeton Vikings football team this year. Sad to see them have to exit out of the playoff season this Friday, but he's certainly shining out there on the football field. I don't think you ever expected that, did you?
No, I didn't see that coming. And I think the last 2 games were his best games.
And I don't know if these folks know, because I think you have a really unique business that you work in Sharonville, and I think it would be really interesting for you to share with this group of people what you do for a living right here in the city of Sharonville.
Yeah, I build mandolins, and unfortunately, it's not a situation where I sell to people in Sharonville, so I don't keep my space as like a retail environment. There's no. People come from all over the country and visit me, but it's not a retail store, so I just build mandolins there, but I sell them all over the country, all over the world, really.
And like to recording artists to
actually
use these mandolins to.
Some of the more prominent people, Steep Canyon Rangers, Michael Cleveland, Flamekeeper. You have to know bluegrass music to know these people, but they've won Grammys, okay? Sierra Farrell's really hot right now. There's a guy who plays mandolin with her. But anyway.
I think it's just a very unique, it's obviously a very niche market, right?
Yeah.
But it's a very unique thing that a lot of people, I know this group, probably some of these folks might know, but not all of them do. But it's one of those unique things that make Sharonville. And so I'm glad you could share that. And we will continue to try to work on that frustration that exists. Okay. So
thank you.
Hopefully we'll see some improvement. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other residents at this time? All right, seeing none. Council Committee, Community Development, Mr. Tankersley.
Thank you. The only thing I have to report tonight is I received a text message this evening from a former employee, Linda Lutz, regarding the veterans banners, and her father will be 99 years old in a couple months, and he was very pleased to see his banner hanging up in downtown Sharonville. And I've heard other people make comments that that was something that the city did an outstanding job on. So, Anna, the committee, everything worked out well. So, and everybody have a good Thanksgiving and don't eat too much.
Thank you. Budget and Finance, Mr. Cook.
Thank you. Budget and Finance met on 11/12, and what we did is we discussed the convention center budget, the debt fund, the capital fund, and general fund, and all in preparation to our budget hearing. And there is no report for project oversight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Community Services, Mr. Levitt.
Good evening. Report is on file with Ms. Buhait. In our next meeting, we are not going to have a meeting in December. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. So thank you.
4 o'clock.
Yes, 4 o'clock, Administrative. Yes, thank you.
Honored Citizen, Ms. Knight.
Yes, I want to make a comment about the banners also. I don't know if you know, but Mike Donnelly, his dad, Edwin Donnelly, he fought at Iwo Jima, and he's been on the History Channel, and I think it was just on where they were interviewing him, and his banner's over by the Fine Arts Center. So it's Edwin Donnelly, and then Mike Donnelly's by the Blue Goose. But I just wanted to thank Anna, too, because it was just great to see their being come in. Thank you. Okay, for my honor citizen report, tonight I'm going to honor the Sharonville Fire Department, especially Wendy Walters. She's our new EMS nurse. She comes to every one of my senior citizens meetings and takes all the seniors' blood pressure. She has little trackers so they'll know what each time they had it taken, if it was good or bad. She helps them if they have any concerns, but I just can't say how much. And if she can't make it because she has to go to a meeting or something, she does send the firemen. So it takes 3 firemen for her to take her spot. So, and they also bring the fire truck. She brings her car. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Law and Public Safety, Mr. Schmidt.
Yes, we have only one council meeting left this year. That would be on the 17th of December. So the Law Committee will be on the 12th of December at the Administrative Law Conference Room at 4 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, rule suspension and motions for the first and only reading for immediate effectivity of ordinance 2024-62E, 2024-63E, 2024-65E, 2024-66E, 2024-67E, 2024-68E, and Resolution 2024-R-05-E. So do I have a motion for rule suspension for those ordinances as read? Mr. Tankersley, thank you first. Ms. Sharpshare, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, yes?
Yes.
Opposed, no? All right, that is passed. Unfinished business, Ms. Buhait.
Okay. The third reading of ordinance 2024-59, amending Sharonville zoning code regarding vape stores.
All right, is there a motion for ordinance 2024-59? So moved by Mr. Cox, seconded by Ms. Knight. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Lovett?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-59 has been approved. It for unfinished.
Okay, new business.
Okay. Ordinance 2024-62. A first and only reading of emergency ordinance 2024-62, approving a discretionary bonus and approving a discretionary cost of living adjustment for full-time and permanent part-time employees and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a motion for ordinance 2024-62-E? So moved by Mr. Cook, second by Mr. Tankersley. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Lovett?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Emergency ordinance 2024-62E has been approved. First and only reading of ordinance 2024-63E, amending 2024 appropriations for the various funds and authorizing the Safety Service Director to purchase carpet for the convention center through a cooperative purchasing program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a motion for ordinance 2024-63-E? So moved by Mr. Levitt, second by Mr. Schmidt. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Levitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Ordinance 2024-63E has been approved. A first reading of emergency ordinance 2024-64E, authorizing two professional contracts with DSD Advisors LLC for legislative consulting services and declaring an emergency. First and only reading of emergency ordinance 2024-65E, authorizing the Safety Service Director to bid the Sharonville Community Center lower parking lot paving project to award a contract to the lowest and best bidder and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a motion for ordinance 2024-65-E? Thank you, Ms. Sharpshare, for the first. Mr. Levitt, thank you for the second. Discussion. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Levitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
2024-65E has been approved. First and only reading of emergency ordinance 2024-66E, authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contracts for the design of the Cornell Road Improvement Project and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a motion for ordinance 2024-66E? Ms. Sharpshare, thank you for the first, and Mr. Cook, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Levitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Emergency ordinance 2024-66E has been approved. First and only reading of emergency ordinance 2024-67E, authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract to participate in the Hamilton County Development Program and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a motion for ordinance 2024-67-E? Mr. Levitt, thank you for the first. Mr. Cox, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Levitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt? Emergency ordinance 2024-67E has been approved. Emergency ordinance 2024-68E, adopting Ohio Department of Transportation legislation, authorizing the Safety Service Director to execute contracts and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a motion for ordinance 2024-68-E? Mr. Tankersley, thank you for the first. Mr. Cook, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Levitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt? Emergency ordinance 2024-68E has been approved. I think they need two originals, so sign. I think. First and only reading of emergency resolution 2024-R05E. Resolution authorizing payment to Monarch Construction and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a motion for resolution 2024-R-05-E? Mr. Levitt, thank you for the first. Ms. Knight, thank you for the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tankersley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sharpshare?
Yes.
Mr. Cook?
Yes.
Mr. Levitt?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mrs. Knight?
Yes.
And Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Emergency resolution 2024-R05E has been approved. First reading of emergency resolution 2024-R06E, Resolution declaring intent to conduct internet auctions for the sale of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit city personal property during calendar year 2025 and declaring an emergency.
All right, voice vote?
Yep.
You or me? All right, so we have a voice vote to extend the door hours for Christmas. Sorry? Christmas. All right, Christmas on the loop. So is there a motion for the extension of door hours for Christmas on the loop? Thank you, Ms. Sharpshire for the first, Mr. Cook for the second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no? All right, thank you, that passes. This time, are there any residents desiring to be heard before council this evening for a second and last time? All right, seeing none, thank you. Are there other matters to be heard before council this evening? Mr. Lippert?
Yeah, I probably could have done this outside of the council meeting, but for the matter of public notice, both Mr. Lucas and I heard, Mr. Schmidt, you say that the next law committee meeting was December 12th, which is a Thursday.
December 10th.
December 10th, thank you, sir.
Other matters, Ms. Sharpshire?
So I just want to bring another public service announcement. This Thursday, November 21st, Princeton High School is putting on a Messiah concert. And I just want to let everyone know that this is one of the best performances I've ever been to at Princeton. They bring in professional opera singers, and all the students play all the instruments, and the choirs sing the backup music. It is absolutely beautiful. If you closed your eyes, you'd swear you were at the opera. So that's Thursday, November 21st at 7 p.m. in the Matthews Auditorium, and it's free of charge. Oh, and calling all alumni, because they call all the alumni from the choir back on stage to sing the Alleluia. So if you're listening, alumni, please come.
Thank you. Ms. Knight?
Yes. First, I'd like to extend an invitation to all council members to December 9th. We're having our Christmas lunch at the rec center, the seniors and all the silver sneakers. It's $7. It starts at 11:30. If you need to, just call the rec center and sign up there. Also, this Saturday, we're having the turkey shoot, the basketball where you can try to win a turkey. Last year I did it. I got 2 baskets, but there was a seed, and she, I think she was just turned 40. I think it was 40 and over, and she hit every basket, but I think she played basketball. And also, the December 14th is a Christmas on the Loop. I don't think we have a meeting till that. So what time is that, Anna?
Christmas on the Loop begins at 11, and it goes until 3, but we also have iceless ice skating going from 10 till 6.
So just to remind everybody to head down to the door is extended too, so.
Thank you for passing that.
Which is why the ice skating is iceless. No, I'm just kidding. That's right.
All right, any other matters? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion for adjournment? Mr. Tankersley, thank you for the first. Ms. Sharpshire, thank you for the second. All those in favor, yes? Yes. Those opposed, no? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.